Geek, Citadel.
Let's not lie and say that this beta was designed for anything but a showcase of the Dark Zone. If somehow the offer of one mission and some random but unimpressive encounters is what the game has to offer as a story, it is really lacking in that department. Side quests boil down to chance encounters that are often retreads on the same theme. Protect a military officer, save some hostages from random villains. You know, busy work that open world games are known for throwing around. I can't help but compare the structure to that of Far Cry or Watch Dogs. There are a lot of missions outside of the one story mission that had the repetitive stink after an hour. So much that our group just abandoned these extra encounters to face the Dark Zone without even maxing out our levels. This could be just a beta thing, but I'm getting vibes of Destiny here, and that's not a good impression for the long term. To hide my fears, it looks as if Ubisoft already has a season pass ready with 3 DLC expansions. Gameplay is very similar to the newer Splinter Cell games. Fluid cover combat with slick shooting mechanics as a base. On the other end of the spectrum is the more MMO style health bars of enemies and RPG elements like an ability and perk system. We can loot chests, kill enemies for various weapons and armor with different rarity grades. It's a standard style of RPG shooter mechanics, and what is depicting itself as a realistic world, just kinda weird. For what it's worth, the shooting mechanics are smooth and combat isn't as drawn out as a game like Borderlands. I adore that we can group up with friends from a simple menu that doesn't interrupt gameplay. Groups can teleport to each other and get right into the thick of combat. I'm hoping that there are a lot of team-oriented missions that put each player's skill to the test. Right now, the game's just a single-player shooting gallery that allows you to have 3 other buddies tagging behind you. Does this title look like the E3 trailer they released back in 2015? Hell no. They lied and knew they couldn't get that kind of fidelity on consoles and scaled it back for all platforms, even PC. With that out of the way, the game does look fantastic for what the team settled on. The character models could use some work, but the city of New York and the weather effects are gorgeous. The game uses the day and night cycle to alter the lighting to create beautiful mornings and terrifying snowstorms at night. I think the most spectacular accomplishment of the game is the lack of loading times. You load at the beginning of the game or when you are fast traveling to a new location. That's it. You're free to enter a building, drop down into the sewer, and even enter the Dark Zone without seeing a loading screen. That is a fantastic feat with how dense and large the world seems to be. I hope it's not a beta-only technology and applies to the full game. I really like the Dark Zone as a PvP element, but I feel like it's trying too hard to be DayZ and Rust. This game has an active and intense PvE combat system. The Dark Zone is regulated to a mostly barren wasteland with a few AI and a lot of players. Let's not forget that in DayZ, the zombies aren't even a real threat, and that seems to be the problem with the Division as well. I entered the Dark Zone rubbing my hands together saying something like, man, oh man, I'm about to give me some loot. Only to spend 3 minutes running around a large open area without encountering a single enemy CPU and a mass of players with empty pockets. I get that the Dark Zone is no man's land and we're supposed to slaughter each other. I just don't find it fundamentally different from other games that have regurgitated the kill or be killed idea. I was expecting the Dark Zone to be a land filled with tons of AI characters around every corner. I'm talking about a lawless land of death and explosions where nearly no one is safe from death. I expected to run down the street and get into a tough gun battle and see a player who may want to shoot me, but he thinks twice about it as a group of rough bad guys come through an open doorway, guns blazing. We're forced to team up because there's no way we would make it through this hellish war zone alone. 5 to 10 minutes, we fight off wave after wave until suddenly we finally cleared our path to the extraction zone. And then, maybe then, we can just shoot each other in the head. Instead, I get to run around out in the open for 2 minutes hoping I find an NPC, and if I find one, that they'll actually drop some interesting loot. If the goal is to kill each other, Ubisoft, just get rid of the AI and make players drop various loot and currency. If that's not what you're going for, please up the ante and pile on the dangerous AI with juicy loot drops to boot. It's still beta. This is something that can be changed, right? Probably not, but I'll hold on to my hopes and dreams. So far, I like the Division as a way to get my friends together for a shootout. I'm just hoping that the story and side quests are more involved than the Dark Zone. As it stands right now, the beta is giving me the impression that the Dark Zone is the end-all be-all. To be honest, this beta leaves a sour taste in my mouth. It's like when I played Battlefront and I had a blast during the beta, but I could see it wasn't a game I would be buying for $60. Maybe I'm wrong though, and this is a game that is hiding a fleshed out campaign with all the fixings. But more than likely, it'll be really average when it comes out and get 5s and 7s.